Oh my goodness. It's like messed up. Anyway, hello Pretties, welcome to Web Spiral. So today I have my base makeup on, but no eyeshadow because I bought the palette, the Angela Bright and Sigma palette, and so I thought we would do a look together, which it may be a mistake that I did my base first, just considering that she didn't in her videos, and it looks like she did get some fallout, but we're gonna try it because I didn't do it. So that being said, I obviously broke my no-buy, which I did say when I first broke my no-buy that I was gonna allow myself to get like 3 or 5 things this year. So I guess technically it's a low-buy. It's a very strict low-buy. I'm in the mindset that I'm in a no-buy, but you know. Anyway, I would like to say that I struggled to come up with this decision of buying it and like, should I stick to my no-buy? But not that much because I was one of the first 100s and I got this thing for free. So there's that. I will say though, thinking back, I made a mistake. It also came with this little washing thing and with the E55 mini brush, which I think I might already own. Actually, give me a second. I was mistaken. I do not own this one. The E55 is new, but I do own 2 other mini ones, and it is the E38 and the E32. So I'm gonna have these ones here. The E32 is just more for like packing. I guess I could use these little mini ones for today's video. I should try using my Sigma brushes. Let's see what else. I also pulled off this little thing, which is a, what is it? It's an E38, so it's this one, so maybe I don't need 2. And then this one is an E54, which I don't have here because this one's a E32. So anyway, I have these as well, and I also pulled this one right here because I want to try these brushes more, but it's more like for the packing, for the packing purposes. So I have these brushes. Yeah, I guess we should just get to it. I have an idea of what I want to do for this look. By the way, it is really nice holographic. I do like that it's significantly smaller. I kind of want to see, like, comparing to like other palettes, how big it is. So this is what's it called? This is the one from Patrick Ta, and so this one is quite a bit longer, and this one's also a bit wider, and it's significantly thicker, so it is a lot smaller. I have one ABH palette, again significantly less, a lot thinner. Just overall, this one is longer though. Let's see. I feel like the L'Oreal Los Angeles palettes are similar in, yeah, so similar width as the L'Oreal. Actually, the Sigma one's slightly thinner, and this is a, what's it called, a 10 pan, and so it is wider on both ends. Okay, just for comparison purposes, I just want to see, because this is a lot thinner. I've only owned one other Sigma palette, and I did not like it. I've decluttered it since. It was the Sigma Enchanted, and my issue with that palette was that it just was not meant for my skin tone. Sorry, I'm trying to get closer to you guys. It was not meant for my skin tone. I couldn't build a look patchy and ashy on me, just because I have very strong olive undertones. So it just wasn't. I couldn't build it. The lighter like transition shades, I couldn't build them up. They kind of stayed flat in that zone, and they looked ashy and patchy, and it just wasn't it. I'm excited for this one. Fingers crossed I'm not gonna have the same issue. I'm not gonna do swatches because I feel like everyone and their mama has done swatches on this palette, so I feel like unnecessary. What I do want to do is tell you how much is in each what's it called, in each pan, because I feel like that's something that I always look at, and when I put it in my spreadsheets, that's what I'm gonna look at. So it says 0.58 ounces, but I'm gonna do a little math. I'm confident. I feel like that's gonna be 0.04, but I wanna tell you guys for sure. Pull it out. 0.58 divided by 14, yeah, is 0.0414. So I was right. And 16.4 grams. So that's gonna be what? 1.4 grams. Let's see, 16.4 divided by 14. I was close. It's 1.12. So it's one. I mean, if you round up, it's 1.2 grams, but it's 1.17 grams per shadow. So overall, that's pretty good sizing, because I feel like a lot of things have gotten smaller. I feel like, thank God I pulled out a mirror. I was like, oh yeah, the palette's gonna have a mirror. I can just use this, but the mirror is honestly quite small. Hello to yourselves. Anyway, the mirror is quite small. I'm not sure if I could actually use that to like do my eyeshadow. I'm gonna try it, but there's that. The pans do look smaller, but I feel like they're the same size as what they used to be. I think it just overall fits smaller because there's not a little thing for the eyeshadow brush. So there's that. Now, I really want to use Basic as my transition shade because I'm nervous that this shade will be too light for me. And I feel like the only neutral transition shade there is. Everything else will be too much. And then Peachy is obviously too pink. So I really hope I'm able to build this color and that it's going to show up on my skin tone. Because right now it's looking almost the same color as me. So I don't know. I think that one's going to be a bit of a test. I'm not going to set my eyeshadow primer because I don't think I saw her setting shade eyeshadow primer. So I haven't. I'm using the Milani one. That's what I normally use. And I have an idea of what I want to wear. I want to use some of these more green tones. And I want to do a halo out with these two green tones. This is my thing though. Every time that I've seen videos of people using this palette, their green colors look very blue. And that's because they somehow use this blue shade in one way, shape, or form. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually try to stick to these two right here until I can really pull those greens more and see if I can actually do a true green eyeshadow. Because if you guys know, if you've been around here at all, I love green eyeshadow. It's my favorite kind of eyeshadow to do just because like I said, I have olive undertones, so it just kind of brings out my eyes and my skin tone more. And because I have brown eyes, it just makes my eyes pop more. So there's that. I already primed, so there's nothing we can do there. And we're just gonna start. I guess we're gonna use this little ones. I'm really gonna try. Alright, so I'm gonna grab the Basic, and this is not a review, by the way. I'm just gonna put that out there. I just want to try the palette with you guys. Alright, I'm nervous for this shade because I feel like it's going to be too light and it's not going to show up on my skin tone and it's not going to build, because that was my experience with, I mean, I can kind of see it and see if it actually builds color. Let's see if there's some pigment there. I will say though, I think she was right. I don't think you need to set your eye primer if you're wearing with these shadows. They just blend right into the crease beautifully. But it's not building the way I would have liked for it to build. Sorry, I know I'm like moving a lot and I'm really up close, but I wanted you guys to see that, I mean, there's a little build. I can see a little bit of it. I could have set my eyeshadow with this shade though. It's literally this, my skin tone. I'm gonna try one more time, see if I can really build that color. I think this is as much as I'm gonna get out of it. I mean, it's visible. It's visible. I can see it. It's doing something. Like, it's definitely like showed my crease a little bit more, or it's a little more defined, but I'm not gonna be able to build it. So I think I'm gonna have to just use this shade to kind of help me tone down some of the more pigmented shades, some of the other colors, to tone them down so that they can actually look like a transition shade. At least if I want to stay in the neutral side of things, if I'm going to end up using Peachy, I don't think that I'm going to have to worry about it, because Peachy looks like it's going to be a lot more pigmented, and these are not the kind of shades that I usually worry about. It's usually neutrals, and because Peachy is more of a warm tone, that's what will make it look, it won't look ashy on me. So I'm not too worried about that shade. If there was a cooler tone pink, that's something I would have to look into, because when I use the Enchanted palette, the little pinky shade looked very ashy on me because it was a cool tone pink. But since this is warm tone, it shouldn't be a problem. So at least I'm not worried about it. But I'm just gonna have to use this shade specifically to tone down other shades so that I can actually make a more easy transition. But I'm not gonna have a true neutral transition. So if you're deeper skin tone, something to keep in mind. I feel like if you because I'm a light medium skin tone. If you're anywhere in the medium spectrum, you're gonna have a little bit of a struggle with that transition shade. But if you're deeper skin tone, because you would never use a shade like that for a transition, you would probably use something more like schmogla. You'll probably use something like schmogla for a transition. Or you could actually even use some of more the colorful shells for transitions. I just don't feel like you will have that problem. It's really if you're more of like medium skin tone where you would be, because those are too deep. This one, the other ones are too light. So yeah. All right. I think I've rambled enough. Anyway, this is my problem with Sigma eyeshadows. At least from what I can tell, nothing's looked ashy on me, so thank God. But I just wish this one was more pigmented, where I could build the color a little bit more. If I could at least build the color more there, I could get that nice transition. But it's just not really doing much for me. But it's blending nicely from what I can tell, at least. So there's that. All right. Well, at least we have this down. What I want to do next is really go with, what is this one? The Mini E32. These are so tiny. I'm gonna go with that other shade, the Schmogla. I know that she said it was, I think she said it was based for her dog. And use this at the outer corner and the inner corner just to build the foundation of that halo eye. There you go. Okay, now these are blending very nicely. I wonder if I were to go, see how that blends so smoothly? If I were to go with a big fluffy brush, I wonder if I could make this light enough where I could use it as a transition shade. Like with a big fluffy brush and just kind of go really, really light on my crease, would I be able to build this like a, just because look how easily that blended into that basic shade. I'm curious if I put like a swift or like a soft bit of basic on the crease, and I were to go with the shade with a big fluffy, very softly on my transition. If I were able to create an actual transition, I think I might be able to very easily actually. But all right, so far so good. I'm not the most technical when it comes to eyeshadow, but I feel like this is looking rather good. Okay, nothing to complain about, and it's blending very easily, I will say, which is a first for me. I had a really hard time blending the Enchanted palette, just because my transition on my crease looked like shit. Everything else just looked muddy on top of it. But this is blending really nice. Okay, I'm excited. All right, I'm gonna go with, actually, I'm gonna go with the same brush. And I'm gonna grab a, and I'm not going to wet it. I really just wanna see what it looks like. It's not really showing up. I feel like I need to wet the eyeshadow. At least I'm not getting a bunch of fallout, so that's good. But I really want this to look more green. So I'm gonna wet it. How long is this video so far? Okay, we're making good time, because this is all real time. I'm not editing this video at all. You guys know I hate editing. It's the worst. So I really just want to pack it. Okay, that's looking a lot more green, which is great. That's exactly what we wanted, and it is blending. Okay, good. That's exactly what we need. All right, because I really want this to look green. I really want this eyeshadow to look green and not blue, because I feel like that's a lot of what I saw when people were making looks and they used this particular shade. I want it to look more green. It does have some, like, I think it has some teal on it, because it doesn't look like it looks in the pan. See, there has to be some teal in it, because it's definitely pulling a little blue, but I am seeing more of the green. Or I wonder if it's just because it's wet that it's doing that. That might be it too. All right, and now the other side. Actually, I'm gonna pause to the other side real quick and be right back. Okay, I'm back. It turned out pretty good. I was trying to do this on the other side. So I started a little bit grabbing this, dried it off. I dried the brush so that I could try to put a little bit more of the color into my actual, deposit some of that color into my crease. And then this I haven't done, but I'm gonna grab a bit of that basic shade with this big fluffy brush and just kind of blend the edges, because that actually really worked in my, when I tried to do the other eye. So that's what it is. I would say the basic is blending pretty well. I see the use for this shade. I still wish it was a little more, was a little deeper, so I could actually use it. But at least this looks a little more blended at the edges. This is not my most technically strong eyeshadow look that I've done. And I'm just gonna grab these like golden olive kind of shade, it's called Hollywood, and just put it in my crease, or sorry, in the center of my lid with my finger. There you go. Bam, bam, bam. A little bit more. There you go. And I'm gonna blend a little bit of it with, or grab a little more of that green here just to blend the edges. And actually, because I want it to look more green, I'm gonna grab more and just place it on the outside and the inside. I wish it looked more green. It looks a little bluish on camera. It looks a little more green in person, but I wish it looked more green. I don't know, it's not transitioning very well from the pan into the eye. It looks a little blue. I'm not really sure why. And I'm just gonna grab a little bit of that green. It's not wet, just to put it in the outer and inner corner, just to make that halo effect. Okay. Bam. There we go. And I'm just taking some of the excess off and grabbing a little bit of that olive green and putting a little bit in the middle. I normally don't like to do this when I do halo eyes, but why not? We're already fucking around here anyway. So why not? Why am I so blind? I'm just gonna grab a flat brush and go with Bare, and I'm gonna use that to highlight. I like to highlight with more of a matte white shade. And then I'm gonna use Bright in the inner corner because I do want a little bit of shimmer. I think it looks really dark. And right here. I don't know. This is not my favorite look. I should have done just like a pinkish look. I think that would have look nice, but it doesn't look bad. I don't love this look. It does make my eyes pop though. My eyes look a lot lighter with this, and just blending to my skin tone well. I don't know. It's not my favorite look. I wish it looked more green. I wish the inner corner looked a little more olive, and I wish this looked more emerald. But overall, I mean, it still looks nice. I also didn't blend that well, so it's okay. I want to play with this palette more because I have a lot of opinions that have not been like made. But anyway, this is me playing with the palette for the first time. Please do not forget to like and subscribe if you like this video. Are you getting the palette? Are there any looks that you know you want to do? I really like Angela. I really like her channel. I've mentioned it there was like a community tag a while back, and I know I mentioned her for like inspiration. Her and Judy, I really like watching their channels for inspiration because they do a lot of eye looks with a lot of different palettes, and I don't necessarily feel impulse to buy those palettes, but I'm like, oh, you know what, this eye look looks really nice, let me try to recreate it, or let me try to recreate it with something that looks somewhat similar, or I like that color combo, let me try that color combination. I get a lot of inspiration from watching their channels, especially Angela. I really do, and she's one of the few people that has actually stuck with tutorials, and I love watching tutorials, and a lot of people don't, and I do feel very inspired with this palette. I definitely want to do some looks with Peachy. Like Peachy is very pretty. I think Peachy and Autumn are quite pretty. I would like to see something with like this corner right here. I think I would like to do a look with like 2015, like a smoky 2015 all over the lid. Maybe I think that would be very pretty. Obviously, we know that this is like the neutral corner, and you can definitely do something very pretty and soft and easy there. I think that would be really nice. PDX, the blue, that is the kind of shade that if I'm going to use the blue, that's the kind of shade I will use the blue. I just wouldn't use the blue the way she uses blues. I feel like she likes to do very intense, bold looks with this blues, but it's not my aesthetic. My aesthetic is to do a lot, like just pops of blues within my looks. So there's that. I think it'll be really easy actually to incorporate Zinfandel, this like wine color. I think it'll be very easy to incorporate this look into a look. Actually, a lot easier than you might think, especially with cold brew and maybe or peachy. I think you could easily incorporate that into looks quite easy, really well. I will say orangey shades like this, they're not my favorite, but I feel like if I were to mix this with basic, these two colors together would probably make a very soft shade, more like warm autumn, which I think would be more my aesthetic. This just seems very in your face fall, and I would like it to be a little more softer, more sunrise rather than all, you know, like, I don't know, trees. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm just rambling at this point. Please do not forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.